Hi, and thanks for joining me. I find that when I get a little angry, little miffed, invariably I go and seek more information. That's my reaction. I arm myself with knowledge in order to counter the narrative that is annoying me. Now, where was this narrative that annoyed me? It was on X. I know that is a unique form of self-punishment and I bring it all on myself. But I have learned to contain myself. I have learned to choose my battles and I very rarely react. But a few nights ago, I did react because a certain someone, who I will not name, was having a go at Catherine the Princess of Wales' work. And that infuriated me because it displayed just a blatant lack of knowledge and I just wanted to counter it. So I made a post that wasn't very good. It was sort of out of my head. That was just the brief knowledge that I had about what she'd achieved over the last decade or so. But it was the comments underneath my post that actually resonated with me and thought, okay, there is more to this story. And if there's more to this story, I can tell it. I think I can do it justice. So that's what this video is about today. So I'm going to read you out what the comment that was left under my post. It was from a childcare professional. And she said this, that her poll, meaning Catherine's poll, about the Big Five and her work and dedication to the field is internationally recognised. Work and dedication, internationally recognised. And I thought, okay, well, I don't think that story's received enough attention. And I think it deserves to have attention. So I went delving, I went digging, I went down my internet rabbit hole, and this is what I found. Now, as you know, Catherine the Princess of Wales' focus has been on her early childhood experience, and her goal was to, 1, raise awareness, and 2, prompt collaborative action in order to really change things. Now, often, the media will focus on, what Catherine's wearing or how her hair looks, but they will mention where she turned up. And that is a great way to raise awareness. But unlike other people that I know, sorry, sly dig there, there's more substance to this work. There's work going on behind the scenes. And it's not work that is done just by her team. It is work that is driven and is being led by Catherine the Princess of Wales. I also don't think people realise how hard it is with a vehicle like the Royal Foundation. When they take on projects, they take them on long term, often a lifelong commitment. And the people that are charged with making sure the funds are raised to support these initiatives that are supported by the Royal Foundation are Catherine the Princess of Wales and William the Prince of Wales. They have to hustle. They have to work hard year in, year out to make sure that the initiatives that they start are fully funded and able to endure and keep going so they don't let people down. And these are initiatives that cannot be funded by government, that are often funded by the private sector through the Prince and Princess of Wales putting the hard word on them, hustling, like I said, and ensuring that awareness is raised enough about an issue that funds come in to support it. It's not easy work. And I'm not about comparing Catherine and Meghan. That's not what this video is about. I don't want to do that because if Meghan had have achieved anything of real note in the 70-something days that she was actually working as a royal, I would draw attention to it. I have drawn attention to Prince Harry's good work with the Invictus Games. I've paid credit to him for the fact that he has hustled to ensure that that is funded, that he's put himself out there to ensure that it's funded. Because this is hard stuff. People lose interest. After the initial whiz-bang of attention on an issue, give it 3-4 years, people drift off. There's always a new thing to support. There's always a hot new thing to throw your business behind or throw your charitable funds behind. So it's hard work. Now, Catherine has dedicated herself, like I said, for over a decade to the same work. Often overlooked, often sneered at, often belittled, and yet she just keeps going. She doesn't care. Because she's in for the long haul. She's in for the long game. She's in for a lifetime. Now, I know that Queen Camilla and Prince Charles also, through the King's Trust, support major initiatives. I know that Queen Camilla is fundamental in supporting, charities that help women enduring domestic violence. I know all that, and I probably will do dedicated videos on that work as well. But I just wanted to focus on Catherine, the Princess of Wales, because when she made that really moving video sitting on that bench, and she said that her work gave her great joy and she couldn't wait to get back to it, I knew she meant this work. So I thought, okay, let's look at this. Let's work out why it means so much to her. Let's look at why it brings her joy. And I think it brings her joy because it really is meaningful. So her focus on this early childhood sector, she had two goals. One was to raise awareness, which she does. And of course, that's all part of the fact, look at Catherine's hair, look at Catherine's outfits, look what shoes she's got on, look where she's turning up today, look how she smiled at that young child, look how all of that raises awareness. And it is important. But the thing I admire about her, now I've looked into this, is she doesn't rely on that. It's not enough. There is real work going on behind the scenes. So the second thing she wanted to achieve is to prompt collaborative action in order to really change things. Now, she's not after the quick whiz-bang change, where she'll get lauded in the press, a quick puff of brilliance and then she'll fade into obscurity. No, lifetime dedication, long, slow, sustainable, meaningful change. It doesn't get you the awards. It doesn't get you the attention, but it leaves a lasting legacy that matters. And you'll see that with King's Trust, with over 40 years of dedication to his causes. 40 years! It's a lot. Okay, so let's have a look into this. So in 2018, I wanted to find out what prompted the Big Five, what prompted that massive national survey. And it was really Catherine that went behind that to really push that. She convened a steering group of people and she travelled to meet with the best and the brightest and have serious conversations about how collaborative work could bring about real action. Now, what became evident in these conversations was that there wasn't enough knowledge. There wasn't enough information. There was no commonly shared agreement. There was no commonly shared information. So there was no basis or foundation for any collaborative action to move forward. They needed to find out their agreed original position, their agreed starting point. They needed to find out what that was and agree on it and then make actionable steps to act on that information. The information did not exist. So Catherine said, and I'm just, putting words into her mouth, but this is how I saw it. She said to the best and the brightest, I'll get you the information. I'll use the Royal Foundation as a vehicle to get you the information that you need because government wasn't going to fund it. Research projects, privately funded research projects weren't going to fund it. So she knew she would need to use the Royal Foundation to fund this massive information gathering exercise. And within 2 years, she did exactly that. Now, she can't just go into the Royal Foundation and say, I want a couple of mil, guys, for my latest brain fart. She can't say that. She has to back it up. She has to show what is going to be the results of that money spent. She has to bring facts to the table, then it's evaluated, and then she can move forward. It's not an easy exercise, this. It's not an easy exercise. So, in January 2020, the 5 big questions on the under fives, a landmark survey, was launched, and it was funded by the Royal Foundation. Now, this is astounding. This was the first nationwide conversation about early childhood in Britain ever. And it was the only survey where ordinary people in the UK were asked their opinion about what is important in childhood. What sort of life do they want their children to have? What sort of future do they want their children to have? What sort of support do they need in order to ensure that all this happens? They had never been asked. The people of Britain, the population of Britain, had never been asked what mattered to them about their kids. And that's what this landmark survey did. Now, the National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, Britain's leading child protection charity, that's known as the NSPPC. No, it's not. It's known as the NSPCC, okay? NSPCC. They said this project would be a vital source of information, invaluable, to do their work protecting children and preventing harm, vital. Now, they don't need to say that, okay? Britain's leading charity to prevent, cruelty against children. It was vital. It was going to provide data for all those working in the early years sector, and the results would be used to identify what areas needed further help and, more importantly, further funding and further attention that only the Princess of Wales can bring. So she's done this 2 years worth of work. She's got it to the point where the survey can roll out. They commission a professional survey company to do it, and that costs a lot of money. And it rolls across the country, thousands and thousands and thousands of people giving their views. Okay, a massive initiative. Now, the publication of this research was a culmination of 9 years of work by the Princess. Now, when I read this particular publications of the findings, they were saying it was a culmination of 9 years of work. Well, now she's had even more years since then, okay, because that was back in 2020. So here are the results, and I'm paraphrasing. I've summarised them into brief bullet points. So 1, people are overwhelmingly believe that a child's future is not predetermined at birth, that steps can be taken in order to ensure they can reach their full potential. 2, so therefore, surroundings, environment, what we're doing in our societies in order to support parents and children matters. It determines a child's life. 2, the reality of life makes it hard for parents to prioritise their well-being. Now, that's the premise of being able to fix your own oxygen mask on a plane before you fix your child's oxygen mask. If you're not coping, if you're not getting supported enough, if your life isn't bearable, or you even have enough hours in your day in order to spend time with your children, the children are going to suffer. Obviously, the parents are going to suffer, but the long-term future for that child is going to suffer. So it's recognizing that a child's future is also determined by supporting their parents appropriately. 3, feeling judged by others can make a bad situation worse. It can stop people reaching out and seeking help. If they know they're doing the wrong thing by their child, fear of being judged can stop them reaching out, yet they want to reach out for help because invariably they do love their children. It's just gone really, really wrong. 4, the impact the pandemic had on parental loneliness and the reluctance for parents to reach out for help. Now, that the pandemic made it, 10 times worse. 5, parents in deprived areas do not get the same level of community help. Now, that was interesting, and it was a surprising result because people assume that in communities where there is the most need, that is where the help is going. And what this survey identified was that was not the case. Often the communities in the most need were actually being overlooked, and communities that probably weren't as in much need were receiving the bulk of services. So unless you gather data, unless you gather facts, unless you gather information, you can't determine this, and you can't determine that the funds and the help are going to the right people. She made it clear in her keynote address that it wasn't enough to wish for a better world. So she brought in experts from all over the world, and this is where they're saying it had international impact, because she really is keen to make this a global initiative. And she's not about her telling people how to live their lives or how to bring up their kids or anything like that. She's about supporting experts in the field and acting like, Prince William often says, acting like the glue that brings the best and the brightest together in order to improve other people's lives. So she brought in key specialists in the field of childhood development, psychologists, mental health leaders and academics, and she enabled them. She created the space. The Royal Foundation created the money in order to have this big conference and allowed them to meet each other, allowed them to network and make meaningful connections and create projects that are ongoing from that, where international knowledge is being shared. So the best of what is being found, that information and knowledge from studies is being shared between these specialists. And that really pushes anything forward. It really, really does. You can never have too much information. So she wants to help find answers, and she's ensuring she's creating the best environment, the best in the field to do just that. She's involved 21 countries around the world. Now listen to this, because this is important. The resulting report is regarded as a manifesto for social and emotional skills. So that is huge. It's highly regarded internationally as a manifesto for social emotional skills. This isn't Catherine telling us it's highly regarded. This isn't Catherine getting an award for the fact that she's saying she's highly regarded for doing, 3 months work on something, or throwing, $900 towards an initiative and then getting an award for it. She's not saying this. Other experts beyond her are voluntarily offering that this is the manifesto internationally for social emotional skills. She has also spent time with women prisoners taking part in a rehabilitation program. And again, someone reached out to me on X in the comments that knew about this program and knew about the really good work that this program does, and was obviously personally impacted by its value. And so this rehabilitation program is about aiming to break the cycles of addiction for women. And therefore, often a lot of them are mothers. A lot of them even have their children, in prison with them for a period of time. And so it's called the Forward Trust. And it's about ensuring that these women, when they get out of prison, that they will not go back to a life of addiction, that they will be supported properly so that they don't. Another comment on X pointed out to me that Catherine, the Princess of Wales, got British retailers to donate 10,000 items to baby banks. Sorry, items in the tens of thousands, so more than 10,000, to baby banks. Now, do you think that's easy? Do you think it's easy to reach out to businesses and get them to donate on that sort of scale? It's not. It takes a lot of contact. It takes a lot of schmoozing. It takes a lot of care and attention. It takes a lot of making people feel valued. And the way you make them feel valued is you spend time with them. You talk to them on the phone. You FaceTime them. You turn up. If they ask you for a favour, you turn up and do the favour. That goes on all year round. And a lot of these things aren't on the official court circular because they're under the radar favours in order to generate funds, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine, for the Royal Foundation. It's an enormous task. So she's working tirelessly to raise funds for the Royal Foundation, on top of lots of individual kindnesses, private visits to sick children, or private visits to, a parent that has suffered some grief or loss, reaching out privately to create comfort and aid to someone. That goes on all the time. And the difference is they don't leak it to the press. Often. They will allow the press in on something if they think that it can raise funds for the whatever the thing is. They will, and with those people's permission, they will do it, because to raise awareness creates money. But often they won't. They do hundreds and hundreds of private things all year long that we never, ever hear about. So on top of all that, like all working women out there, she's doing a great job bringing up 3 kids. She's obviously a hands-on mum, and she's ensuring that George is equipped to ascend to the throne one day. No small task. No small task. And yes, I know she's got nannies and servants and the whole bit. She works very, very hard and she's achieving a lot. She would need a team and she would need help. So I say here, I made a note that Catherine is a big picture, long haul player. She sees her work as the work of a lifetime, and she isn't pretending to be interested. She isn't pretending to do work, she's doing it. She's got the runs on the board to prove it. So I hope this video gives you an idea that she's more than just a beautiful face and a kind heart, that she really is achieving wonderful, wonderful things. And I can only imagine, hopefully, that she's in her 90s or approaching her 100th birthday as the Queen one day. And people will be able to look back at her lasting legacy of just the sheer impact of what she's achieved. And I think then the realization will sit in. So if this video has raised that awareness just a little bit, I've achieved my goal. And I would like to thank Catherine, the Princess of Wales, for all the work that she has done so far. And I would also like to say, I can't wait till you get back to work, as I'm sure you can't wait either, because I just know that the impact will continue. I know you will achieve amazing things, and I can't wait to see it. Thank you very much. Let me know what you think down below, and make some comments about all the things that you love about Catherine's work, and I'll see you all again really soon. Bye.